following week, this past weekend, we had 2 British UFC fighters on the Baku card. When it was Aban Elliott and Melissa Mullins, and neither of them come through it on the successful side. The hand wasn't raised for either of them. It was a tough night for Aban, wasn't it? He was out wrestled, he was out mauled, and then he took some vicious strikes on the ground as well, got busted up. And funnily enough, the guy was called KO, I think, or something like that. So when I seen the BBC posted it, and then there's obviously the people that don't read properly or don't know who he is, and so I've been all commenting like, oh, well, he didn't get beat by KO. And it's like, well, he did, but you're just not reading it properly. But yeah, it's his first UFC defeat as well. So, and sometimes it can do him a world of good, that as well. You know, it's only one defeat. He's been beaten before previously in cage rallies and stuff, but yeah, he just got mauled and just got outworked. Feel bad for him because I like him. Obviously, he's one of ours, isn't he? The Welsh gangster. Don't know how much you used to have seen of it. When you're any takeaways from it, boys? Did you catch much of the Azerbaijan card, Baku card?
No, I didn't really catch any of it. To be fair, I was out at the races. I was
Partying, was you?
Yeah. Oh yes, mate. Oh yes. Blowing all my money on horses and bottles. You know, overpriced bottles, mate. You know.
No karaoke.
Oh no karaoke at the horse racing, mate. Oh no, just a bit of Jamie West on stage, big, you know.
Surprised you didn't try and get on with him, you.
I caught the fight. Elliot it's just one of them, you know. It happens. It happened a lot on the last London card, I think. I want to say where a lot of the British guys just got out grappled, really, and it is, you know, sort of feels like a sort of nationwide weakness. Is the wrestling, especially in the UFC, and look, it was what it was. It was a tough night. That, you know, that KO he's a decent fighter. He's a similar streak to Elliot was on before then, and he'll bounce back. He's got that Chael Sonnen in his corner. He's got, you know, people that are supporting him that have a lot of weight in the UFC, so he'll be fine. He'll have to just get up and go again. That's all he can do. From the terms of the rest of the card, I mean, there was some impressive stuff. Oralbai got that really good win over Musayev, who was obviously the hometown hero. Speaking of hometown heroes, that Sadiakov Mota fight, if you haven't seen that, Alex, that's a must watch from the card. Those two really went through it down, just crazy fight. And Sadiakov got it done. Really impressive performance. And to be honest, Mota didn't look bad at all in defeat too. And then look, you had Fisiev sort of not rolling back the years. Tough to say a fight, but I had like 17 UFC MMA fights. But Bahamondez just had a weird game plan, didn't work. Fisiev was just able to piece him up and just get the win, secure it. And I thought Roundtree Jr. looked all right as well in that main event. And look, Jamal Hill, he's not the best fighter the world's ever seen, but he's a tough test for a lot of people. And, you know, Roundtree Jr. looked cool in the shorts, and he got the win, and you know, dropped Jamal Hill 3 times, I think. So yeah, really impressive win in the division that probably could do with having people like him in it. You know, look, he lost to Pereira, but he really put on a good fight with Pereira, and I'd be intrigued to maybe see that again. Look, there's probably other fights you could make first. Wouldn't mind seeing Roundtree Jr. Prohachka. That'd be quite interesting. But yeah, so generally it was an all right card. It's tough with the UFC at the minute because even all right cards feel a bit crap. But like that, it was genuinely, it was an all right. It was a pretty good card, and it was on a UK time.
In terms of the co-main event, Fizayev was good. Like you said, he pieced him up. He was clinical, but he didn't have to commit too much as well, because he was landing, but he wasn't landing like clean strikes enough where he could then see an opening where he could take him out. So yeah, great unanimous decision win for him. And the main event, Khalil Roundtree, just want to give a big shout out to Liam Harrison Badco, because Roundtree's been over there, and then leg kicks, what he was thumping Jamal Hill with for 25 minutes. Wow. Down to the Yorkshireman and Liam Harrison, and he just battered him, didn't he? There was a case for a couple of, maybe one at least, a 10-8 round, because he, like I said, he dropped him a few times. I think he dropped him twice in one round. And if that was in boxing, or any other combat, then yeah, it is. It'd be a 10-8 round, wouldn't it? So, but yeah,
standing hammer fist as well. Sorry,
yeah, it was nice. Yeah, nice.
He's a fun fighter, Roundtree Jr. He is fun. I mean, we were just speaking about, I will just touch on this quickly. We saw the opposite of an advert for the heavyweight division that night. Both the fights were terrible. Both heavyweight fights. And Mohammed Usman, who, you know, if Kamaru's on a title charge, Mohammed's certainly not. And then Curtis Blades versus what's he called, Kuniev, who was like someone he just debuting, wasn't he? And it was like he could really make an impact, and then just had a fight with Curtis Blades. You know, the heavyweight division. There's like no fighters in it. They're not very good. It's rough over there. And but yeah, at least we had the light heavyweights delivering, which you can always say. Morales Jr. is sick, but there is, not to take the transition from you, Dan, but there is an actual good UFC card coming up, and finally we are treated to a stacked main card. I will say, like, feels tough to say from top to bottom of at least the main card. Look, of course, there's some fights on there. You probably will get up and leave while it's on, but Topuria Olivera. I mean, wow, that's a big one, Alex. How are you feeling about that one?
What an absolute banger, mate. Obviously, you've got the lightweight belt on the line with Islam vacating, as we spoke about before. What a fight, mate. I don't know how to call it. My heart wants Charles to win, but at the same time, Ilia Topuria is just on an absolute steamroll of a run. It's just mowing everybody down. Mowed over Volkanovski, Holloway, back to back. And I can see him doing the same to Charles, you know. I can see him absolutely sparking him. But it just depends if Charles does what he normally does and comes in the pocket and gets in the firefight a bit, because that's what Charles likes to do. He likes to make a bit of a scrap out of it. But as we've seen before, all it takes is a few off Ilya, mate, and you're asleep. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship with this fight.
Yeah,
it is. I think that you've just hit the nail on the head with that analogy. But Topuria is going to spark him out, boys.
Yeah,
you know what's going to happen. You can see it, can't you? When you think about how it's going to happen, you close your eyes, and you can just see it. And I want it to happen, because then Topuria will say, "Right, Paddy Pimlet, you little pussy, me and you at the Bernabeu." And then they'll have it at the Bernabeu, and then Paddy will beat Ilya at the Bernabeu, and then they'll have a rematch at Anfield. Inject it into my veins, give it to me. That's got to be the UFC's plan. That's what Dana's talking about when he says, "I'm going to give you something that we've never done before, that we've never seen before." And if anything, you look at what we experienced a couple of weeks ago, and what we experienced last year, Nathan. We've said this before, and I've done a lot in that environment. MMA and combat sports in a stadium works. It should be presented like that. It shouldn't just be dull and dry. The fighters come in and they go, and then the product's dry. It should be a celebration of what these guys are delivering in the cage for us. And fights like Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimlet deserve that kind of energy and that podium and that platform in front of 80,000 people at the Bernabeu. Why not? It'd be the biggest grossing ticket selling event ever.
Yeah, and it would be on a normal time as well for us, which would be even better. It'd feel like a big boxing fight, you know, in that sense as well. Unfortunately, I've still got to root for Olivera, man. Just imagine if he gets it done. Like, imagine if he wins, how good that's going to feel if he does. Unfortunately, I don't know if again, I'm probably with you guys. I don't think I think Topuria is going to get him out of there round 2 probably, but Olivera is such a great fighter, man. And look, he's got like this if you lose would be his 11th loss. But I mean, is there a better fighter in the world with 10 losses, let alone 11? You know, he's sincerely a legend. So I'll be rooting for him, although expecting something else to happen. I mean, speaking of fighters with 11 losses, Kai Kara-France Pantoja, that's up next. I mean, is this just gonna Dan? This is probably another Pantoja defense, isn't it? Just nice, not nice and easy, because Kara-France is decent, but pretty expected.
Yeah, but he's not underestimating him, because he said in an interview that Kara-France is like the Mike Tyson at flyweight, which he is an animal. But I agree with you. I think it's just going to be like another like Pantoja defense that happened. I mean, if he was, I know it's lower weight class, but if he was a majorly exciting fighter, he'd have his own main event for his own world title fight. But he's not.
Yeah,
he's a cold main event to the vacant title fight. You know,
It's the flyweight curse, though, isn't it?
that says a lot about it. That says a lot about the lower weight classes. I mean, Merab did it earlier this year too. Was it the Islam and Moicano fight? But that might be a little bit different. But then again, I think Merab does deserve main event slots. Yerry just had it with O'Malley, but yeah, them lower weight classes, they should definitely deserve their own main event slot. Is this main event slot worthy? Possibly. It just depends where you have it. Could he have had it in his homeland in Brazil as his own main event? Possibly. But it's not, and it's on this card. And yeah, I agree. I think it's just going to be a case of another Pantoja win. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I agree. I don't see Kai being able to chin him. You know, that's been everybody's game plan of beating Pantoja for the past 4 fights. You know, I'll chin him, but it's just never worked out. Once Pantoja gets hold of him, he just doesn't let go, controls him, threats to submission, gets his ground and pound off, and he either cruises to the victory or he subs you. And that's been the case for the past how many 10+ fights, whatever. You know, I can't remember. The last time he lost a fight was in July 2020, 5 years ago. He's been unbeaten for 5 years with that same method of grab you, don't let you go, smash you, look for the submission. And I think he's just going to do the same to Kai. I think his game plan's so much more solid. Whereas Kai's going in with a puncher's chance mindset, and he's going to need something with a bit stronger than I'm going to chin him, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there's I don't know about you two boys, but there's 1 or 2 fighters that scream off the card. Peyton Talbot and Felipe Lima. We've been quite big on Felipe Lima since his Octagon stint. I think that's a very tasty fight. What's your thoughts
It's a
on
horrible
that,
fight. Horrible fight for Talbot. I mean, I thought.
I thought it was when
no. It's a great fight. It's a great fight for the neutral, but you know, you assume Talbot's one of the guys that's sort of marketable in the UFC right now. He's one of those prospects that, you know, he just had the sort of humbling defeat to Barcelos. That's, you know, it's not a particularly bad defeat. We've seen how good he is. You build him back up. If you're, you know, a promoter that is locked in on Talbot as a prospect, you probably try and build him back up. You get him a couple wins, but no, you're going straight in with probably one of the best prospects in the whole company in Felipe Lima. It's going to be a really tough fight for him. And, you know, Lima comes in as the favourite. I will say if Talbot does win, then that does a lot for him, as reminding people that he is, even though he's young, he's still really good. But Lima, man, it's a really great fight. And I'm glad it's on the main card as well, because these are 2 guys who could, you know, really, these guys, big futures, both of them, regardless of what happens in the fight. But yeah, so it's a really tricky task for Talbot coming off a defeat for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like for Felipe Lima's gone a bit under the radar a little bit in the UFC. He's just been grinding out the work, having his fights, winning, and I kind of feel like he's not quite cracked the general UFC audience yet. I feel like for Felipe Lima, it's if you're onto him kind of guy at the minute, because a lot of the UFC fans are American. I don't think they're going to be onto Octagon. They're not going to be aware of some of his history and stuff. And I think it's a good challenge for Peyton Talbot, you know, to prove that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Nathan said, if he wins, it'll be massive that for Peyton. It'll be a big reminder.
Exactly.
Lima's got more wins as well, and he's been a champion in a major European promotion.
Exactly. Yeah, bang on. I mean, the whole card's just full of sick fights like this. Like, you go to the one above it, Brandon Royval versus Josh Van. I watched Josh Van fight about 6 weeks ago. I think it may be even less than that. I think it was about 4. And it's such a fast turnaround time against such a high-profile contender. Mate, if he gets that done, that's a legendary run, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And sorry, Nathan.
No, you go.
Have we got more to say on this UFC card?
Sorry.
There is quite a few tasty matchups on there, as Alex said. He's just named a few there.
Yeah, I just had the Josh Van one. Yeah, I wonder if it's a bit too much, you know, bitten off more than he can chew with this Brandon Royval fight, because Royval is a lot better than Silva, and it's going to be a really tough test. Royval's he's the sort of gatekeeper now. I think that's almost his role. Probably lost to Pantoja too many times to really have another crack at that belt while he's got it. But Van is fun. He's a really good fighter, and that will be a firefight completely. It's just whether that turnaround is actually going to work against Van, in the sense of Royval will have had a little bit more time, at least a little bit more time out of the cage to prep for it. But it is a strong card, as you say. You know, Dariush Moicano is on there. You got Hermansson Robocop. The sneaky one on there is McKinney versus Borshev. That's going to last 2 minutes and be really, really fun. So that's one not to miss on the prelims, because that unfortunately the prelims aren't as stacked as the main card, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is. We can't complain too much if, you know, UFC have done something right for once. Let's not, you know, get on them too much with some of the dodgy prelims at the start.
No. The cup for
No,
once.
it's a healthy card, a very healthy card, fitting of a championship event.